Happy Feast Day. Today is the Annunciation. So, because I'm so bored at home, so I was thinking that why not I introduce all my spiritual book that I have with me. And yeah, let's do it. So they are all here. Not a lot of them, to be honest. So if you just wanted to start to read more spiritual book, then I think the first book you should start, from my opinion, from my humble opinion, is this book. Rediscover Catholicism. It's written by Matthew Kelly, and I saw this book on Catholic Link. They recommend books, and then they say it's for beginner. To be honest, it's not. It's not. I think every Catholic should read this, because I find that especially when you are cradle Catholic, you just take everything for granted, literally everything. So this book is really like lighting up the fire in your heart that what you already experienced, like the mass, and it talks about the salvation. Like, is Catholic is Catholic really a cult, or is really the behind of all the Western civilization, and what is really the salvation of the world that Jesus came into the world, and how significant is it in the human history, even though we don't recognize it and we don't acknowledge it, and it's all right, it's fine. And it talks about, especially the most stunning thing that I read from this book is that the hospital system that we have now, the education system that we have now, and the university system that we had now, the scientific I'm studying I'm a science student, so the scientific method that we are using now is all invented by Catholics. It's all invented by the Catholic Church, and everyone just borrow it and never acknowledge it, never cite it. But it's true. It's in the history. Every historian knows this. It's just that the modern world doesn't recognize this. But I think this is a really good book. And I will go to the two books by the Pope, by different Pope. So this came first. This is called YouCat, and it's the meaning of YouCat is Youth Catechism. So is targeting youth like me. I was a youth. So this book came out when I was about 16, 15, 16. And this one is my confirmation gift that I get. This is in Chinese, but there is in various languages. Yeah, so it talks about, this is by Pope Benedict XVI during that time. So it's more like a FAQ session that you have one question and then it will answer, and it will answer from citing from the catechism and also the Bible and all the stuff. So it talks about like all the sacrament and why we are alive, why is human alive, even why human exist, why is the world created, and what is the meaning of life, to be honest. But it's more talking from the perspective of the church, and the catechism is full of catechism, is heavy in from catechism and Bible. Yeah, it's great. And the second one you can see is like a similar version of it, but this one is very recently came out. This is by Pope Francis. So it's about the social teaching of the church. So it goes into every aspect about economics, politics, environmental issue, which is my area of study, and much more, a lot more. And it's also the same same format. It's also FAQ, so a question and answer, and it's also heavily cited from the catechism and also the Bible. and like what we as Catholics should do now in this time, especially in this modern time. Yeah, it's good. It's good. And this is quite recent. I think it's I get this book a few months ago. I haven't finished it. I haven't finished reading it. But it's really good. It talks about human work, human person, our mission, and the family, the international community, the political community, which very is about the modern world, like after globalization, what Catholics should do to the world. And yeah, it's really good. There's this one time of my spiritual journey that I'm very interested about, going deep about love and relationship. I mean all love, not just boy-girls relationship. And I want to know more, I want to read more, I want to, the Catholic Church will get it right, and I just want to know more. So I bought this book, but I cannot read it because it's too deep. It's too deep for me. So maybe like after 5 years, when I'm more matured, I am able to read this. This is by Karol. Karol is afterwards the future Pope John Paul II, and he reads this book, Love and Responsibility. It's very, very thick in theology, and the word is very, very deep. So it's quite hard to understand, but I think if you will have a higher education in theology, I think this is okay for you. It should be good. And why I got into John Paul II at first is because of this book. So this is written by Jason Evert. The title is called St. John Paul the Great and His Five Love. This is really, really good. I recommend to everyone, especially the teenager, because so this book's separate into two sections. The first section is talking about St. John Paul II, his life, his early life before he was even a priest. His life in Poland, and there is World War II and Nazis, and his father died and his mother died, and he find his vocation during the wartime. He goes to seminary, and then he liked to hike. He liked to go ski, and he ministry to the youth. He especially have a very big heart, a very big love for the youth. And the second section of the book is about St. John Paul's love for five love. So it's for young people, human love, the Blessed Sacrament, the Virgin Mary, and the cross. It's really good, and it's very easy to read. The English is very simple. Even for me, non-native speaker, it's good. This is really good. And Jason Evert is a speaker that he speaks about chaste love, and he's still active now. He go around the world speaking about chastity, and very good. He is a married guy, and his wife is a good person as well, and both of them really live out the chastity that the Catholic Church is teaching. Very good. And then, so when you're in love with John Paul II, you're in love with the theology of the body. But the original text of Theology of the Body, I think, is very, very deep and hard to understand. So I get this also by Jason Evert. It's called The Theology of the Body in 1 hour. It's also a bit, it's quite thin, but it's also a bit hard to understand. But I think I will read it in the future. Again, it's really good. It's not just about not having sex before marriage. It's more about what is it to mean to be a man and a woman in this world as a human, and what is our calling, what is our vocation. Of course, be a saint, but also we have a body, and it's not bad, it's good. Every physical matter is good that is created by God. It's good. So he talks about what is the significance of body, and it tells us something about our vocation. And yeah, if you're interested in theology of the body, please read. Or you can get, I think it's by Christopher West, that he talks about theology of the body for beginner. Yeah, it should be good as well. And this book, the title is called Good News About Sex and Marriage. Answer to your honest question about Catholic teaching. This is really, really, really good. I recommend to all teenager, especially teenager, that you are confused with, you know, if sex is so hard, why should we? What is the purpose of it? So this is really good. It's talking about sex is a gift from God to human person, and why is it very significant for us in our relationship with God. And also it talks about marriage, the significance of marriage, and how beautiful is it. It's very beautiful. After I reading this is so good. I really think marriage is a beautiful call, and we need a lot of grace for marriage calling as well. The reason why I bought this book is because, although, I feel, to be honest, I feel sex is dirty as well, even it occur between two married person, because of the secular world that keep on brainwashing us about the lies of sex. They are not talking about the truth. They are just worshipping sex and not talking about more about the love that is undergoing within marriage and family and sex. And there is also a very, very few section behind it where it talks about celibacy, and it's not as scary as you are thinking of. It's really good. This book is really good. It's by Christopher West. So Christopher West is a fanboy of theology of the body. So yeah. This book is heavily based on theology of the body, and I totally recommend this. And you can see I almost highlight the whole book. This is how good it can get. I almost highlight the whole book. It's really good. And then when we talk about theology of the body, you think of, what about same-sex marriage? What does the church talk about? I would recommend this book. It's by one of my favorite priests, Fr Mike Schmitz. So the title is called Mate for Love and Same-Sex Attraction and the Catholic Church. It's really good. I think everyone should read this book, because it's not just about those who struggle, but also for those who are friends of them, family of them. So how should we view this? Is it really that we need to stay away from them, or how should we love them? Everyone is made for love. So it's really good. I really love this priest. He gives talks about the church in YouTube a lot, and he's like my spiritual director that he never met me before. I will put his link under that, all his videos. It's really good, free of charge. Now I would like to present to you my favorite saint, Saint Therese of Lisieux, or the Little Therese, if you haven't heard of her. So this is a book that written by herself. It's called The Story of a Soul. I read it, but I don't really get it. I need to read it again in the future, because it's quite high in spirituality when she wrote it. She wrote it in her final years of her life, and it's talking about her life, like from the day she was born until her mother died, her father died, and her sister go to the convent, and she went to the convent as well very soon. And then her spirituality in the convent, and it's good. And yeah, I think this is one of the book, and she is the doctor of the church, so read it. Another saint, Saint Faustina. So she is the person that tell us about the divine mercy of Jesus, and this diary is very, very, very thick, and it's quite intense, but it's quite good. It's very good, and this is like all her conversation with Jesus and her spiritual life in the convent and everything. And fun fact, this is the second version of her diary. The first version of her diary was burned by herself because she was, I think, is tempted by the devil or something. Yeah, this is the second version of the diary. But yeah, we got it now in our modern Catholic world, which is quite pleasant. I'm happy that. And when you talk about divine mercy, you must talk about one book. This book is called Consoling the Heart of Jesus, but this is not the real book. This is just the mini book of it. I didn't have my real book with me now because I lent it to someone else. And the real book is much more thicker and bigger in size. That is really, really good. So this book is based on a lot of other saints reading and writing, and also heavily on the diary. Just now I show you. And actually, for me, this book should be retitled. It's called The Manual Book to Become a Saint. Yes. And this is written by a priest. It's really good. You can read it as like a retreat for yourself. And it talks about suffering and how do we suffer, how should we suffer, and our obstacle in our spiritual life, and how should we overcome it. And it really emphasizes on trust in Jesus, which is what the divine mercy is talking about. And it's really, really good. I really might recommend this. This is one of my favorite. I always give away a lot of the real book to my friend, and this is really helpful for me, and it's good. Talking about the saints, you must talk about Mother Mary. So this book is called The Champions of the Rosary. So it's the most comprehensive collection of study after study by a father. He's still active now, preaching about Rosary. It's really, really good. It's talking about the history of Rosary, that prove that Rosary is not human made, it's divine, it's given by God. And it talks about how many saints are the champion of the Rosary, and like Pope John Paul II, Pope Leo XVI, if not mistaken, and other saints, so many saints like Maximilian Kolbe and Saint Louis de Montfort. It's really good. It's talking about from the beginning until now the evolution of Rosary, and he used 3 years of his life studying and wrote this book. So, and this book is quite big and thick, but I haven't finished it, but this is really good. And the author himself say that book is not the best book about the Rosary. You know why? Because the best book about Rosary is already written by Saint Louis de Montfort, and Saint Louis de Montfort wrote a lot of books on Rosary. I only have 3 of them. This is really, really, really good. I never think of Mother Mary the old way again. I think after that book and this book. So this book is ending with all the study about Mother Mary, and at the end is ending with consecration to Jesus through Mary, which is what I did. I did it last year, I think. So it's really good. This book is very hard to get. I mean, because it was during that time there's plague and devil is very active, and all the writing of Saint Louis de Montfort got burned or buried in the ground, and so please cherish it. And he also wrote other book. It's called The Secret of the Rosary by Saint Louis de Montfort, and The Secret of Mary by Saint Louis de Montfort. I will link the priest that wrote this book down in my description, where he talks about, he give a summary about what his book is about.